up, guys? It's the Game Bro coming to you after the Mexican Grand Prix. Man, that was a snoozer. If it weren't for Danny Rick kind of getting the fuse lit under him after that 10-second penalty for wiping out Tsunoda, it would have really been a snoozer. Had some retirements toward the end there. This race was mostly just make sure the car comes home in one piece. Make sure it doesn't overheat. Watch the tires. Poor decision by Mercedes putting the hard tires on. You know, at least throw the softs on there. Go for a two-stopper, something. Because, you know, you're just, that whole race, you're just waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to happen. And then I turned the Cup race on, and we got to stop here about the F1 stuff and just talk about this Ross Chastain move at Martinsville, because holy shit, it doesn't even look real. I almost want to make another video just for that, driving the car around Martinsville on the wall, just to, does that even work in a video game? It just doesn't seem real. So props to him from getting into the championship round next week in Phoenix. And fuck Denny Hamlin and fuck the Gibbs guys, too, for everything that's gone on this weekend at Martinsville. Back to F1. Ferrari totally off the pace this week. You know, everyone talks about altitude in Mexico City. That's an issue there. Sometimes that equalizes power unit advantages. And this, you know, we're running super massive wing setups here for the high air, almost like Monaco level, if not more. Who knows? Same stuff probably with the cost cap, and that's something I'll touch on in a minute as well. But Ferrari just did not have it. That car did not cope with the curbs through the S's. They really looked off. That car looked like a pain in the ass to drive. Pirelli bringing maybe a bit conservative tire selection to this track this year. I guess not wanting to run into some issues. And the deg was not as what, you know, over the years you saw the tire degradation there. Pretty bad. And the mediums, man, they really held up the tire selection to go on the softs for Red Bull right to start and go into the mediums, finish the race. Effortless for them. What else? The start of the race, too. Kind of not that chaotic for the start of the race, you know. The Mercedes just could not get a good enough toe on the start. Couldn't make a move. I would have, you know, hate to say this, but I hoped George would have torpedoed Max there. Just give it back to him a little bit. Make the race interesting. Something. It was just, this race over the last couple of years has kind of gotten hopeless. Red Bull dominated there. All I can say is let's look forward to 2 weeks from now in Brazil and hope something happens. Can Red Bull take engine penalties and just come through the field? It may at least make it interesting the last couple of races. We got 2 races to go. Like, let's end the year out with at least 1 or 2 races. Head into 23 with a clean slate. On to the cost cap, being that the race sucked. You know, the crowd was awesome, though. Don't get me wrong. The crowd was fantastic. Cheering Perez, booing the shit out of Hamilton. Kind of just okay with Verstappen winning. And Ferrari just kind of running their own race in 5th and 6th there. You know, not really going on. Alpine was hard to pass. AlphaTauri was tough to pass. Man, that onboard with Ricciardo, like, you just saw that coming. He could not make the pass, and you're like, oh, man, he's going to stuff it down the inside here, isn't it? That's not going to work. Tsunoda's going to close the door. And it happened. And Tsunoda retires, and Ricciardo got a 10-second penalty, but holy shit, did that light a fuse under him. Made a ton of passes, got driver of the day, really promoting rough driving, I guess. He'll do great in NASCAR next year if that's where he goes. But under the cost cap, you had Aston Martin and obviously Red Bull breach the cost cap over catering or some bullshit. But either way, last year they went over. Slap on the wrist penalties to both of them. I don't really think it's going to cost them too much next year. The money's one thing. Maybe the development. Is that even going to get fucking policed? What do they do? What did they do this year? You know, it seemed they were bringing a lot more updates. Did they make everyone go on a weight loss diet and not eat anything and just cut the catering cost? Like, where are they doing this? Bullshit is what I say. The cost cap's kind of meaningless. So yeah, we got Brazil in a couple weeks, and then probably 2 weeks after for Abu Dhabi. Really dragged the season out. On to next year, we have 24 races. That's really what we're looking for right now. We're on the next year pretty much already. Last year, we were in the midst of a title fight. Everyone's, you know, holy shit, can you believe it? That happened next race. Oh my God, I can't wait. Now it's just like, oh man, bring on next year. Bring on the car unveils. Let's get something going. Hopefully some, you know, better competition. Even at the start of this year, at least we got some close racing. This was just bullshit, man. Now Max is just easily running away. Most wins by a driver in a season. Beat Schumacher's record. He's up to 14. Probably be 16 by the end of the year. Definitely the most successful Adrian Newey car. Blah, blah, blah. Jerk off. Fanboy Red Bull bullshit. All that shit. It would be cool to see Hamilton win a race in this year just to kind of keep that streak alive. Some hope for next year, claiming to bring a different car next year. He would hope so. That thing has been a disaster compared to what they're used to First winless season for them possibly since like 2011 or some shit like that when Schumacher was there. I don't know. The Porsche deal going under, but Audi will take over in 2026, the Sauber team. So that'll be pretty cool. I wonder what they'll do for a driver selection. Does Bottas stay? Probably not. They'll want to bring some of their guys in, I'm sure, or some of their hand-picked people. That'd be cool to see some other talent get involved there from other markets. Does Vettel come back to kind of, do a Schumacher to that brand, get them off the ground and running, and see if that team can, climb their way up the grid? I think they're going to keep the Sauber name. Are they not? Who knows? We'll find out. Either way, guys, that's what I thought. Props to Ross Chastain, though. That'll be something you see forever. I know this is an F1 review, but in NASCAR, that's going to be something that's talked about forever. And who knows what happens next week in Phoenix. I'll probably do a review after that race just to, put a cap on the NASCAR season 2. So until then, guys, hope you have a great week. Sorry that race sucked ass, but I've been the Game Bro. I've been out. I am out. Later.